welcome to the attic. If you're new here, hi. There are over 400 videos on my site for you to catch up on, so please visit the playlists for journal making, card making, and if you're interested, my real French life, or if you're in a hurry, try the coffee break tutorial playlist for quick ideas while you're enjoying a cuppa. Please subscribe and do hit the like button when you enjoy a video because it really helps me to grow my channel and I appreciate your support. If you're a returning friend, hello again. I've been making Christmas gifts in preparation for returning to the UK for a few weeks over the winter time to catch up with friends and family, and I don't want to go empty-handed. I want to take something with me for them. So this is what I've been making. I've turned it into a kit and I'm going to talk you through it. My favourite kit is always the one I've most recently made, but I think this might be my favourite kit. So keep watching because I will do a flip through of one of these little journals towards the end of this video. But in the meantime, I want to show you the papers that I've created. This kit is called Mini Winter Journal. It is a miniaturized and resized version of a journal kit that I have in my Etsy shop called Winterland, but you'll see there are some differences. I've also added an awful lot of new elements to fit with this smaller size of journal. The first page that I want to show you, I've actually printed on ordinary transfer paper. This is just ordinary paper, ordinary transfer paper, and I just want to show you how beautiful that is. I've been working with transfer papers a lot recently. I absolutely love them. And I will show you how I've used this in my journals that I've made. They add a nice extra element of texture and a hint of something sort of chilly and cold and mysterious. I just love the effect of these. So this is just an example of how you can print your kit out. And in order for you to be able to print out a nice sheet on transfer paper without lines on it, I've deliberately created two sheets of paper, these two designs here without lines, and I've put them on two sheets so that for you to print out onto transfer paper you won't want lines on it, so I've just given you the images and it makes it easier for you to print out without having to waste your pages because you've got one with lines and one without. And I always develop the ideas of kits as I work with them. So my first version, when I made one of my journals, informed me about ways that it would be better to do it and better to set up the sheets. So you have 16 A4 sheets in total. This is exactly how they will print out, and there are 9 sheets of double backgrounds. So this is a background and this is a background, and you just print these off, fold them, and they form the pages in your book. And they're also sized in such a way that you can print these back to back, and that way you'll get an even faster journal brought together. When you print these back to back, if your printer is anything like mine, they won't be perfectly aligned. There's always 2 or 3 millimeters of wiggle room. I found that really doesn't matter. I tend to cut within the edge of the boundary box anyway, and even if I have to cut it a little bit shorter, I've never found that it's a real issue, and I've actually sized some of the other elements such as tuck spots and pockets to accommodate that if you do need to cut slightly smaller if you're printing back to back. You'll see there's a mixture of plain and pattern papers throughout the book. Now this has got threading instructions, and this time, oh, sounds like fairies, it's my phone. This time there are threading instructions to create a 4 signature journal. This is what I've made here. This is actually my favourite size of journal. I love these mini sizes. They fit beautifully into your hand. They measure 3.5 by 4 inches and about 1 inch thick. They're really easy to construct. They're quite quick to construct as well. So if you did want to make these for friends or family for the festive season, as long as you're not selling them commercially, you can do that, and you can print off this kit as many times as you need to. So I'm actually going to make 7 of these, just print out my kit 7 times and I can do it. The other thing that I've done to make your life a little bit easier is I've included covers. So you'll see this template is exactly the right size to wrap around the book, including this edge of the signature and all the way across the back as well. And I've created 3 covers. So if you want, you can cut out this Layer your template on top, use the template as a guide to create the little holes, and then this can be the cover for your journal. It's only paper, or it depends what you print it on. I printed this onto paper, but you can do that. You could even back it onto a slightly thicker card. As long as it's a card that will allow you to fold the book and punch holes through, then you can do that as well. So that's the first of the back of the covers, I should say, and these are the second 2 pages of the covers. The covers I find are the most exciting bits to bring the whole thing together, and I have used white Kraft-Tex to create these covers. I like Kraft-Tex very much. I use it extensively. I'll provide a link to that and everything else that I'm going to show you in this video below the video in the read more description box. And it's a very versatile product. You can sew into it, you can punch into it, you can cut it. But I always like to create a little bit of a collage on the front of my journals. So if you wanted a good base to start from, these would give you a nice base. And I've chosen designs that are softer than some of the other designs. Now there are 5 pages of ephemera, and I'm just going to tell you all of the different things that you get for the ephemera. There are pockets that go to the left and to the right, and then there are 3 slightly different sized file pockets, and each one is slightly smaller than the one before, so you can nest these. There's a bookmark, and then there are 12 words that sum up the season, or maybe some elements that you might want to add to your book. There are 4 artist trading cards, these elements here, and this is where I've added new things to this kit that are not in the Winterland kit from previous videos. These are all new elements, and they've got some nice wintry themed things going on, and there are some little tickets as well with some foliage and some animals. Then on this sheet there are 4 tags, and there are 4 little happy moments boxes, but again these are different to anything that has appeared in the previous Winterland kit. This one has got another envelope on here. I don't know if I've already shown you the other envelope, but there's 2 envelopes. This is one of them. And then there are 12 word boxes, and this time it's for each month of the year. There are 3 faux seals, so you can cut these out and use them to seal on your envelopes. And then these 2, what appear to be envelopes are not. They are faux envelopes, but they're in this design deliberately. They're actually going to be little tuck spots to glue into the bottom of your book. But the reason I've done them as faux envelopes is because often when you cut out an envelope, it's really frustrating that you lose either the lovely design on the back or on the front as you glue it into your book. I've got some tips when I do my flip through. I'll show you how you can get the benefit and actually keep more of the envelope than you might otherwise be able to. But these are deliberately designed to look like envelopes, but they're not envelopes. So this is a faux flap on the top, and it means that there's no design on the back of this, so there's nothing for you to lose out on. This is the second envelope that I thought I showed you, but that I hadn't. There's a second bookmark, and then this is also something that I thought about after I'd done my first draft design. And this is a couple of little pages that fit within the book, and I've deliberately put a white gap down the side of these. So you can either cut this out and use it actually as a page within the book and just add your sewing down the centre of this piece, or you can cut both of these out and you can use them separately. You can put them in little tuck spots. So I've made it optional for how you use this, either together or separately. And this is ways to use your journal. Now this is aimed at people who might not usually use a little journal or a little book, and maybe they receive this and they think, oh, that's very nice, but they don't really know what to do with it. And this is for them. This is prompts for how and why you might want to use a little journal. And I start out by saying this little book will be your friend and companion through the days of winter, and here are some ideas for ways you may want to use it. And then I detail lots of different ideas. So you can give this as a gift without then having to get into long and detailed explanations. You can just say, I've left you for some instructions in the pocket, or you can say the instructions for how to use it are all inside. And that way it makes it a nicer voyage of discovery, I think, for people who maybe are not as familiar with journals as you or I may be. And now I'm going to give you an idea of how you can use them. I've really zhuzhed up the front of my journals. I've really gone to town with the layering. I've added this gorgeous little charm that I had in my stash. You might be able to find something like that online. that lovely little leaping deer. And I've used just some ribbon to thread through the signatures. This is such a useful little trick if you're looking for a way to close your book. Just thread some ribbon through the signature once you've completed it, and you can just tie a bow when you want to close it down again. I've created some rather nice collage effects on the front using some tracing paper that I've actually printed one of the designs onto and another piece of the background papers, and the same on the reverse. And I've used some scraps of ribbon and some lacy things and some brown craft coloured card and one of the little words from the kit and another of the little words here. So let me show you just how packed this is. Although this is a very small, neat size, don't be fooled, you can get an awful lot in this size of book. And I've added some ribbon down the edges of some of the pages to add texture and interest. And I've added some blue, sort of nice matching ribbony, twiny stuff in the top of some of the tags. And I'll show you those as well. So what I've done to create the cover is I've cut out a piece of Kraft-Tex, and on the inside I've used just an ordinary little glue stick, such as this one from Simon Says Stamp, very lightly, so that I can glue on the inside a piece of nice fabric that I had in my stash. And then I hope you can see I've done some sewing around the edge, and that helps to hold the whole thing together. And here as well. And I'm going to flip you through one of these signatures. Now I have got 4 signatures, you can see, and a signature just means a section of papers that you have sewn into position. I've used 10 sheets. So when I say 10 sheets to make up one signature, I mean, if I look at them like this and count them this way, there are 10. You don't need to do that much. You could do simply 4 if you wanted. I wouldn't go more than 10 because it puts too much strain on the stitching. So let me just flip you through how it looks when it's pulled together. This is one of my earlier faux envelopes. I did develop this idea, so the ones in the kit are slightly better than this one. And then I've put a little tag in there, and this is where I've added my twine. It's really nice to add something like that in the top, because not only does it then tell you where a tag is, make it easier to pull out, but it's a nice bit of extra detail. And this is one of my advanced or my better created faux envelopes. You can see there's nothing on the reverse, so that's where you would write any little notes or maybe add little photos or little drawings that you might want to do. And I've used one of the seals, in fact. I've glued it just around this little area here, and it means that I can use that as a tuck spot for my little faux envelope. Then I've used one of the pockets as a storage space for some of the words. So it means that when I won't lose these words, they're kept with the journal, so I can use them when I need them. Now this is one of the envelopes that I mentioned I would show you a way that you could actually keep all of the detail of the envelope that you might not usually be able to. So this is the front, and this is the back, so this is the top flap. And all I've done is I've glued that top flap. You can just see it. If I hold it in the right way at the light for you, you can see I've just glued the top flap onto the reverse of this piece of paper. I can slide things into here. Many of the cards in the kit will fit into this envelope, and then I can seal it, and it means I maintain all of the detail of the envelope. I don't have to glue down the nice front-facing piece and lose all of that lovely imagery. I can keep everything. And then this is one of the pages that I've printed back to back, and you can see if you did a whole load of pages like that, you would make up journals so quickly. I've added lots of different different textured papers that I have from my stash, and then here again I've used one of the little faux seals to hold a couple of these rather pretty seasonal tickets. Here's another of my pockets, and again I've cut out tickets all ready to be used or glued in somewhere else, and one of my word boxes. This is the deepest of the pockets, and I've used it to hold the bookmark again. The bookmark is white on the background, ready for any journaling that I might want to do. And this is one of the rather pretty little cards, and I've just glued this in just to give me a nice happy thought as I'm flipping through my journal. This is one of the corners, and this holds one of my Happy Thoughts cards as well. There's another faux seal capturing another of the word boxes, and this is another back-to-back printed paper. And you can mix and match those and print them back to back in any old way you choose. And here's another way of holding the Happy Thoughts cards. And this is what I wanted to show you. This is printing directly onto transfer paper, and it's beautiful. It has a lovely texture to it. It almost feels like it has a wax finish. And I think that is a lovely thing to just come across as a point of difference within a journal. I've added ribbon here for interest, and here's a tag with one of my words on it as well. So the whole book continues in that vein. And here's the second envelope. I've done exactly the same thing so that I don't lose the lovely imagery, and I've just glued the flap in place. So I hope this will give you lots of ideas for ways that you could use your journal or put your journal together. This envelope, I've actually glued the back onto a piece of paper, and the flap opens, and because the flap isn't glued down, you can store things straight into here, and the page becomes part of the envelope. And again, you maximise the images on the envelope and you don't lose them. These come together so quickly. If you wanted to make some of these for friends and family, they're lovely things to create, and I think they would be a nice winter gift. So this is what friends of mine will be getting. Here I've used a bookmark. I've glued it at the top and the side and the bottom, and I'm using it not as a bookmark but as a tuck spot. So I hope that gives you lots of inspiration and ideas for ways that you might use this kit for yourself. And of course, this is the great thing about digital kits, is that once you've bought it, you can print it and make it, as long as it's not for commercial sale, as many times as you might need. Thank you very much for your time, as always. Thank you for watching, and until we meet again, stay safe and take care.